Hi there, gallery members and new viewers alike. Thanks for tuning in for this latest edition of Gridiron Gallery. If you haven't seen my channel before up until this point with new videos, recommend you like this one and subscribe for more. We got plenty of content on all your favorite football leagues. And for those gallery members out there, thank you as always for tuning in. Really can't appreciate you enough. Now, on to the show. Welcoming one and all to another edition of Gridiron Gallery. I'm your host, Zach Keilman, and as always, today we continue our series of player interviews and kind of me just getting back into the swing of things of doing this, and I'm pleased to be joined by someone that is really looking to make an impact and get to the next level and has really been pushing himself and showing off his talents as of late. I would say he's a good friend of some of the other stuff I do as well, and I appreciate that a ton, and we're rooting for him. And we're going to talk about his journey today. Zimbalist Williams is joining us. He's currently playing and has signed with the Football Americano de Mexico, one of those teams down there. He's played there for one season, now going on two, I understand. And you also have an arena contract. We'll get into all that, of course, but how are you doing first off?
Oh man, well, I'm doing great, man, and I want to thank you for having me on today, man. It's been a pleasure. I know we took a lot getting up until this point, so I'm glad that this day is finally here.
Yeah, I'm glad it is too. Like I said, I know you've really been lately on social, really trying to push yourself to get there, and a lot of people are supporting you, at least in your USFL journey at the moment. And there's other opportunities, we're going to be talking about too. I want to kind of hear just something I do with every person I talk to that is in the playing atmosphere. I like to hear the journey to there. I understand that you played at Texas College while you were coming on the up and up, but I mean, if you want to even start farther back, like high school or something, please feel free. I always like hearing the up and up story of getting into your playing career.
And that's what I was gonna ask. I didn't know if you wanted to hear like the puppy story, like when you first started playing out and
no, I like that. I like that stuff. I think people do. To me, people do too. It seems when I talk. So please, if you want to do that, feel free. I mean, I always think that's kind of where you started.
Where you started, yeah. Well, ideally, just being honest, the first time I've been playing football my entire life. My dad put a ball in my hand since I started walking. But my first organized team that I played for was the Arlington Blue Devils for the North Texas Pee Wee Football Association. I was about 7 years old. I was about 7 years old when I first started, and I haven't missed a season ever since. From there, I kind of went on. I played 7 all the way up until I'd say like maybe 12 or 13 years old, and then I went on to junior high and played. Funny story. In junior high, I actually played quarterback and safety. But of course, when I got to high school, that wasn't going to happen because, bro, you're not like 6 foot. So you can kind of hang that dream up. You can put that dream in the cloud. So coach saw I had footwork. He saw like the tackle. And I originally started out as a linebacker and a running back in Pee Wee football, which is kind of like standard, for, getting the fundamentals down, how to run the ball, how to be aggressive, how to attack. That's just kind of the fundamentals. But then went on to play high school ball. And I started out at Juan Seguin in Arlington, transferred over to Mansfield Legacy High School. We were a second-year varsity program. We were coached by Coach Chris Melson. We were a second-year varsity program with 2 rounds deep into the playoffs. We ended up actually playing, at the time, was Denton Guyer. They were one of the top schools like in Texas at that point. They were set up to win state. They had Division I athletes all over their field on offense and defense. So they were pretty much set up, and us being a second-year varsity program, nobody knows this, but it was still cool to have the opportunity to be in that atmosphere. Now, of course, me going on to college, I went to Lon Morris Junior College, which is out in East Texas. From there, transferred to McMurray University out in Abilene. And then from there, I went on to Texas College, where I finished up at a HBCU NAI. I played 3 years there as a starter. I earned first team all district. Not all district, I'm sorry. First team all conference. I earned, of course, I was voted as the captain of my team. I was the defensive backs captain. Also, I did get into the coaching side of things. When I was done playing, I went ahead and moved into the graduate assistant coaching side of things. And I just kind of did that to get myself ready, because my thing was I already had a pro day lined up. I didn't get invited. I got invited to the pro day over at Texas Southern University because my school didn't host a pro day. So thank God enough teams wanted to see me work out. And so they said, hey, listen, come on over to, Texas Southern. I went in and talked to Coach Ashbury. He had already spoke with someone. They vouched for me and got me into the workout. There were like 25 teams out there, man, and it was amazing. That was the most exciting experience of my life. And the reason why I say that is because as you're a kid and you see all these different people, you could be walking through the mall and you see someone like in a Redskins hat, or a Cowboys hat or something like that, and it doesn't really do much for you. But when you're a player sitting, getting ready for your pro day, and you're sitting right there in the office, and you see the Bills walking in with all their team gear on, and the Cowboys and the Rams, it's like surreal for you at that moment. It's like, okay, this is really about to happen. like
I can't imagine that. I did. So that's funny. My story ended in high school, so like anything beyond that, I always like hearing that too.
Yeah.
I get totally has to be surreal, like you're saying.
It was so surreal, man. Because it was different. It wasn't just. At this point, it's not just guys walking around with the gear on. These are actual, representatives. These are guys that can change your life. Right. So went into that aspect of it, had the opportunity from there. I started playing arena football, and I hit a few CFL workouts. And then I had the opportunity later to actually work out for Mr. Alonzo Highsmith. I had the opportunity to work out for him twice. Once while he was with the Green Bay Packers, and then also when he went over to the Cleveland Browns. I had an opportunity to work out for him twice, which was amazing, man. It was a great experience, just being in the atmosphere. Just picking Mr. Highsmith's brain as he's going through our drills, and I'm seeing how he wants it, how he's critiquing it. And in my eyes, it's like, okay, this is how a professional wants it done. Like, this is how you do it.
Yeah.
So I just carried it with me my whole way. Now, from there, I ended up having the opportunity to go out to Mexico and play with the Chihuahua Caudillos, which was an amazing experience, man. They treat you like no other. I'll say this. For a guy that's been playing the game for 22, 23 years, and he finally gets that opportunity, the NFL couldn't have done me any more justice.
Really?
Then it couldn't have done me any more justice, because that was it. Here's the thing. At the end of the day, a guy just wants the opportunity to be able to play in an atmosphere where fans are alive.
That's fair.
That's fair, right?
Fair.
That's all that it is. And so when you go out to Mexico and they have these 20,000 plus fan bases in stadium, like firework halftime shows, like all this stuff is happening, and you're just like, okay, whoa. Me being from Texas, yes, I play football. Like, this is what we do, but they're not worried about halftime firework shows unless you're like, not even Division I football. That's only if you're in the NFL. Like, come on. So for you to go here and have this opportunity, and then to be able to be in the atmosphere of players that are hunting for an opportunity, that have already had opportunities, that are going back because the situation may not have worked out at the next level for them. So now they're coming back to Mexico. And Mexico is really expanding now because of the promoting and the marketing and everything that's going on now. Mexico has really expanded, on a whole nother plateau. And I've actually signed to go back with this team called the Querétaro Pioneros.
Okay.
Yes, sir. I've signed to go back with them, but I've also signed with this team called the West Texas Warbirds. And that's a near and dear situation to my heart, just trying to figure out everything that's going on right now to take the next step. And of course, with my USFL opportunities, just pushing, man, just pushing and promoting and trying to get an opportunity in the USFL. Of course, I've, putting my videos up, trying to reach out to certain individuals, just trying to get someone to just, reach back out to me so I can talk to them and see what the next step is so that I can get a contract for the draft. I would just like an opportunity to be in the draft so that way, hey, at least my name is in the hat. My name is in the hat. I feel like I have accolades in the background and everything that can get me at least into the pool. And then from there, if a coach doesn't want me, he just doesn't want me. And I completely understand that. I'm okay with that. But being someone that knows that he still has the ability to play at that level, I'm not willing to say, okay, that's it.
Yeah, just this is me at a more personal question. Just hearing your tone, do you see yourself more as like a realist then? Because I know you were talking about like more the NFL opportunities. I got there, it might be a little the mountain might be a little hard to climb back up, so that obviously there's plenty of opportunities now.
Yeah,
does that help with that? Of course.
Yeah, it does, man. Ultimately, like we talked about, and one of the things that kind of threw me off is, it's gonna sound bad. I love my people, but I don't feel like I should have had to go to Mexico to play there, be treated that way. I feel like there should be opportunities over here in the U.S. for our players that are not in the NFL to be treated just as well because they've busted their tails their whole life.
I'm with you.
It's only fair.
I mean, I'm on the same page as you with that. That's where we're sitting right now.
Yeah. So it's only, I mean, look, of course, we know how this whole astrology thing works when the universe connects the dots and everything comes back full circle. But realistically speaking, one of my favorite rappers is the late great Nipsey Hussle. He's gone.
Okay, yeah.
He's gone with us. But he had a quote that I used to always love him saying, man. And he used to say, he had two quotes. One was, stay ready so you don't have to get ready.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, was the marathon continues. And that means no matter what, bro, no matter how long it takes you, you just need to finish that race. You need to get to whatever level it is that you need to get to.
I like those not just for football players, but for
that's for life
a little bit. Yeah,
for life.
I would say that's definitely, it fits in just general life wise. So I might have to pin that to my wall back here. You know.
Oh, and also one of my favorite ones that kind of goes along with this one is, he said it, and he was a firm believer in it. When opportunity meets preparation, it equals success.
Nice. I get
so
that.
When
I agree with that.
So when you prepare for your opportunity, it's going to make you a successful individual. And I definitely believe that. So
got to go back and do some re-listening again. You get into phases of music. It's just one of those I haven't gone back in a while. I like a palette. Enough about me though. This is all with you here. I actually want to go back a step before we talk just kind of your stage where you're at with the USFL, and I actually want to ask about the MLFB because I know you've mentioned it to me in off show. Let's just look at Mexico. I knew about the Liga of Football, the LFA, the Liga of Football Americano. I did not know about the FAM. I'm going to do acronyms here with this, or Football Americano de Mexico. I can pronounce it, but I don't want to sound like American speaking Spanish that sounds like a moron. Nonetheless, I didn't suspect that you'd have two leagues because even like in Europe, there's not really 2+ leagues in each country that are competing. Europe has an insane scene of football leagues in its own right, and of course the ALF's trying to align that with its own league and between countries. But in fact, Mexico has two. I mean, I've heard football's growing, but like this is like my first foray into how it's growing to be something right now. I didn't know it was this big.
Yes, sir. It's major right now. I believe the league just added 2 or 3 more teams, expanding about 8 or 9 teams right now. The LFA is right now. So at one point, the LFA was a league that everybody really just wanted to go to. But now it's more so switching to the FAM league because of the promotion and the marketing and everything. People just can kind of see, like, okay, that sounds bad, but people can see this is where the legitimacy is. This is where the money is, and where money is, legitimacy is, and that's just, they go hand in hand. This is being realistic. This is being realistic.
Yeah, sure.
So with people right now, guys that are athletes that are trying to get into Mexico, plenty of them have honestly asked me, man, which league should I go to, the FAM or the LFA? And I'll ask them, well, what are you looking to do? I say, well, what do you mean? Okay, well, cool. I'm glad you asked me that. So are you looking to move on to the next level, or are you looking to have a nice cushiony career? Do you have options from both? If you have options from both, where are you at in your career right now? Okay. And they'll say, oh, well, man, I'm looking to move on, man. I'm trying to just get this film and move on. Okay, great. Well, you need to go to the FAM because that's where you're going to get all your TV time, marketing. You're going to get Coca-Cola, Pepsi, all these different product deals. So you're going to have a Latin celebrity come and do a halftime performance show. You're going to get exposure. So this is where you need to go. Now, if you just want to have a cushiony career, play for about 3 or 4 more years, get in good, and then start coaching, go to the LFA. That's just how I look at it. It's all about career path. Like, okay, so with that being said, okay, CFL or XFL, right?
Oh boy, here we go. I'm messing around just because of you know what I mean. You know exactly. You're giving me the stare. You know exactly what we're talking about. Anyway, I'll hear you. I'm curious.
CFL versus XFL, right? Okay, so if the opportunity presents itself, of course, guys were like, man, I want the CFL, right? Mm-hmm. But since the XFL popped back up and showed its legitimacy, guys are like, okay, well, man, do I really want to go to the CFL now? I mean, the XFL is right here. Do I really need to go out of the country? Do I need to leave the country? I mean, it's just like me. If I can get into the XFL, bro, I want to be right here. I live in Arlington. I live in Fort Worth, Texas. If I can be right Dallas Renegades in my own backyard, why not? That's what I want to do. So why leave the country to have your family watch you play when you could just stay right here? It's all about territory. You know, it's really what you feel like doing. Now, if you don't have any kids or anything like that, bro, get on a plane and go to Canada. Like, goodbye. Just take your opportunities there, because going to the CFL can open up other things for you as well. So it just depends.
I like that analysis, and that's more and more players. You know, I know once they get into the scene here, that is something I kind of want to figure is, you know, what's your family situation? What are you doing currently? You know, I've seen people that, you know, they have a kid and a wife at home, and and basically they understand that system, and they'll be okay with them traveling to different spots all the time, you know. Or you'll have somebody that in arena, for crying out loud, it's not, most of those they're almost always 1-year contracts anymore, you know, since the AFL went under. So you got to jump around after the season. You're ready, and you don't even then you might be doing a job during the year, because these arena leagues don't pay what it is then, you know.
The crazy thing about it is with the arena league, man, you're every year is a year of free agency for you. Hell, every week is a week of free agency for you. You just because you signed a contract to come into camp and come and sign to the team, that doesn't mean you're on this team.
Yes.
Like, you might come in and play and not have a great week, and next week there's 2 DBs in there that's waiting to replace you. And if you don't ball out, you're gone.
Or you can move around. I know you have that contract with the Warbirds, but like another player I've been seeing lately, David Pindell, who started with, and I'm more kind of going, hey, you're using the system in my way correctly for kind of securing yourself. You got the NAL contract, so he has that, decides, okay, I'm going to go and have this IFL one too, or I move to the IFL. So kind of similar plane. You go to a different league, and then puts his name in the USFL pool, gets a contract. Now he has a chance to be drafted there, and a high chance since he already played in the TSL. So that's game in the system.
Exactly. And that's ultimately what it's about. It's about players putting themselves in as many situations that they can possibly be in. At the end of the day, like we say every year, even Mexico, 1-year contract, doesn't matter. So I'm battling for a spot next year, whether it's with my team or with another team. I'm always auditioning for the next opportunity. Always auditioning, because you're here today, you're gone tomorrow. Now, Mexico, you can get signed and stay out there, and you have a bad week. Okay, clean it up, bro. Come back next week and ball out. But arena, it's not as forgiving. It's not as forgiving. It's really not. You know, you might go in and not have a good game, bro, and you're walking on eggshells until you, like, when you go into practice, because you know there's like coach waiting for you. The owner might be at practice, and then he has 2 or 3 other guys that he'd been having his eyes on. He wanted to bring in. He's just waiting for somebody to just slip up. It's all about applying that pressure, man.
I feel you. Yeah, it's more for arenas too. I mean, that's something I've noticed. And it makes sense. It's all about success too, because it's a smaller scale. So, you know, you don't want to be a losing team in a, you know, smallish type of league market where you're more likely to lose fans and gate revenue that way. You know, not getting much.
Coach Victor, man, my first coach that I ever played arena football for, with the Texas Revolution. Yeah, he used to tell me, not just me, everybody. Like, people like, oh, y'all say y'all want to go up? You want to move up? The only way you're going to move up is total domination. That's the only way you're going to move up. You have to totally dominate the man across from you to even have a real legitimate shot at moving up. And that's how arena is. You have to completely dominate the system. You have to dominate the player across from you to even have an opportunity to move up, to be taken serious, at least anyways.
I feel you.
Because everybody in arena is happy when you think about it. Like...
Yeah, well, hey, I guess let's touch on your other contract you got here. You got the West Texas Warbirds, which I've been following them for a little bit. Kind of started off as like looking to be a CIF team, and now they kind of are a tentpole for this new arena league. I actually just talked with one of the owners of one of those teams last week, Charles Roberts, for the Magnolia State Spartans. Kind of fascinating stuff. You're joining a team that kind of is, to this point, looking like it's the big dog in this operation. How do you how's your thought process? I guess I haven't really asked this for a player as much, but how's your process? You got two different places. You know, what makes or breaks? You already been to Mexico, so there's a bit of familiarity there. Just a
Yep.
different squad this time, but
Yep.
back home now, near home, it's just now you got to balance those. Like, what's your head going through with those two?
Well, honestly, what my head is going through, man. Okay, so I'll go ahead and let you guys in on a thought process with me really quick. How a thought process goes with me. Okay,
Sure.
so all right, so it was all right. So you have Mexico, you have the Pioneers, and you have the West Texas Warbirds. Okay, so if you go to the West Texas Warbirds, you'll still be right here close to home. You can come back home. You just had a little girl. You got your son 4 years old. You got your wife. It's convenient. It's still right here in the States. Whenever you get paid, you can just easily get the money back home versus having to figure out how to wire it back and making sure that mom is good and the little girl is good and your son is good and all those different stresses.
Right.
Now, going to the bonuses of going to Mexico are PR, public relations, film, great film. But then I can get that same film with the West Texas Warbirds. Of course, just the atmosphere of fans. Now, West Texas Warbirds have a fan base. So with me, it just comes down to, okay, which one is going to be more convenient? That's why I tip my head into the USFL, because the USFL has, but honestly, that's my opportunity. If you weigh it all up against each other, because it has Strayer University connection, because I've been trying to go to school this whole year. I've been trying to get back into school this whole entire year.
That's good.
And for somehow, it's been continuously getting blocked. And then the USFL pops up with this Strayer University opportunity. So I'm like, okay, I need to be pushing for this. Like, not only do I get to play at a higher platform, but also I get to continue my education and finish up the 3 classes that I didn't get to take because I decided to leave for football in college. So, but with me, it's more so just not opportunity. It's what works best for me and my lifestyle and my situation. Like I just said, I have 2 kids and a wife. So what will work best for me besides the USFL right now would be honestly the West Texas Warbirds, because it's like you talked about earlier. It's knowing that you're leaving your wife and that you're leaving your son and your daughter and you can't see them and you're going to be stressing. I've been the player away from his family, stressing out because things are not going on the way that they need to at home. Being here in Texas, that can actually help me out, or in the States alone. I'm sorry. Being here in the States would allow me to not go through as much stuff. Let me not say BS stuff that I went through when I was, because in Mexico, it's hard really trying to wire the money back. Like when I tried to send money back, I was charged $75 for sending money back.
Oh, I see.
So it's like, yeah, it's there's so much that goes into it. And being here in the States would just honestly, it'd be easier for my lifestyle. The reason why I would go to Mexico would be for the fan base, the jersey sales, all that cool stuff, because they do all that out there.
Well,
they do all that. I would try to be the face of the organization. But at the same time, knowing that if I go to the West Texas Warbirds, if I just ball out, I have the opportunity to move up because they elevate guys. They move guys up.
That's good.
So, yeah, I'm not worried about that part. It's just more so for my lifestyle, for my wife, my son, and my daughter, to make sure that everybody is good across the board. It has to make sense. And what would make sense would either be USFL or West Texas Warbirds or Mexico at this point. I have 3. Well, I wouldn't say I have 3 options. I would say I'm trying to get myself 3 complete options. I have 2 options right now, and I'm going for 3 complete options.
Sure. You know what? Let's touch on the third option. I've been hinting at it a little bit, and of course now we're getting more fully. So this feels like a good time to jump in. The USFL. So you've been very openly on social media, kind of advertising like, hey, let's see if I can get into this. You're in the overall player pool of like essentially looking at these players for talent. Who do I get for contracts? Which kind of that was being revealed slowly. And I've seen this phase with players through the last 2 months where it goes, I'm in. I'm going to get this chance. And then all of a sudden you see the contracts come out, and now it's a whole nother ball game. So you're in the current stage of waiting for a contract to show up in your email inbox. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So we got to get that. And that's coming up in a few, well, it's coming up for the main draft in a few days. Still have the supplemental. So you got time. How's that communication been? Have you been able to ask back and forth with like a representative, or and does your agent just kind of have to be the middleman? How's that work?
Yeah, it's pretty tough, man. I'm not gonna lie. It's Me being able to get in contact with anybody, no, I haven't personally. My representative has tried to reach out. We're just waiting to hear something back. I'm not gonna lie. There's been this young man. Well, I won't say young man. I won't call him an old man either. Okay. My mentor, Mr. Ryan Fredericks. He's been a big help, man, this whole time.
Ah, yes. Okay.
Amazing, man. Mr. Fredericks, man, he's taken a lot of the weight off me, like with just advice alone. And so he's him and Mr. Dave Smith. Dave Smith is over the Birmingham Stallions fan group page 2022 on Facebook. He is being a major help, man. And I really appreciate these two guys for being in my corner, for helping me push. They've been reposting a lot of my stuff on Twitter, and Mr. Fredericks has been just putting his hand in there trying to see if there's anything he can do to help me out. And I can't thank these guys enough, man, because at the end of the day, they see the potential that I have, and they see the talent that I have, and they see that I deserve an opportunity. And I can't do anything but show them love for that, man. And that's just major for me.
Yeah, well, I'm glad you shouted them out. I've had the pleasure to talk with Ron myself on a different show, of course, and I love the conversation of just looking back. Like, his situation back then is completely different than what this was now. Just for just avenues, I guess is what I'm saying for that. But getting that expertise is probably cool. And Dave, I'll be frank, like he's just been. I talk with him all the time too. Like he's great. Like he's
great. Yeah.
I mean, if you haven't met David Smith, like you really should. Dude just loves the game and like loves supporting community members.
Yep.
That's what I'm. He's like one of those guys I'm happy to meet, because I love meeting people that just love football and love those that are like wanting to have that same feeling towards the sport. So, you know, great guys, and I'm happy that they're helping you out. You know, I like talking to them all the time. I mean, I hope it does work out. I mean, like I said, the supplemental at least is kind of like the fallback for a lot of players that, you know, I know that there still is, as we're recording, time to get a full contract. I should stress that. I'm not saying anything. It's just the draft's coming up on Tuesday. Right. So really the deadline here is today and tomorrow, and then here we go at 7:00 on Tuesday, you know?
Well, I'm looking at it like this, man. At the end of the day, man, I will be honest. You've seen it just like I've seen it, bro. And even though I might say, man, there's more, I can do this, I can do that, I can do this, I can do that. Man, I have done almost everything that I could physically do besides getting in touch with these people and blowing them up and going to their house and knocking at their door. Like, I've done everything. I've posted, I've shared, I've tagged, I've had people do that for me. Like, I'm putting it in God's hands now. It's out of my hands. Okay. It's completely out of my hands. Like, now I just sit back and I let God do what he does. And if this is for me, man, then of course, hey, boom, I'll have it. If it's not for me, if it's not according to God's will, then that's not the opportunity for me. I'll just have to move forward and find something else. And that's all that it is to it. But my heart desires to play in this league, and there's no doubt about that.
Mm-hmm. I would like to see as many people get a chance. You know, they have, I will say, and I've stressed this to people, and people have stressed it back to me too. You know, roster sizes are small, so they are really constraining some of the elements here. And what's funny is, as well, you know, there's not really much camp like battles going to be happening, because the roster sizes are going to be basically set. So you won't have to. There's no prove it deal going in. It's you're on. Just prove that you can make the active roster.
Exactly. And then honestly, the way that I feel that it may work. Honestly, these 260 that are getting drafted are going to be your 45K guys, and the other guys that are going to be drafted are going to be your 15K guys. And I mean, that's okay, bro. Again, I've already said I will go practice squad for the whole first year if that means I earn an opportunity to come back the next year and start. I just want that straight university opportunity. I need to finish school.
Sure. So you get that perk with it. That's what something at least you want to have that beyond football, like something they've stressed on their own. You know.
Well, my wife, man, the funny thing is, bro, my wife has 2 degrees in the certification. She has 3 pieces of paper on the wall, and I don't have any, and I'm not okay. And I mean, of course, I left for the love of the game, and it feels like to me now, the game is bringing me back full circle to have an opportunity to finish up. So that's the only reason why I'm pushing it so hard.
Yeah, I would take that. I get that. It's college credit. That's what it's saying. And it's and we've checked in it behind it. Like, these 2 universities they're accredited on most of the universities in the country. So I mean, you get that. It's respected college. It's respected coursework is what I'm trying to say. So that would be. I completely understand that. You know, that's really awesome. And again, I hope you get that. You know,
Yes.
I hope that's the case. You know, you're talking. You know, your angle. At the very least, I'm saying your angle would be you have that best case. You get a chance to play, and it would be cool to be on Fox or NBC television in that case. Now, if you look, one thing that keeps getting brought up is you have to pay hotel rates for if you don't have a place elsewhere to stay, you get brought down. You're basically going to be paying a hotel. They did cut it in half recently, so it's $75 now. But as people have pointed out, that's still a hefty monthly sum you got to throw down to be there. Especially if you're talking like if I'm just on the practice squad, that's a good chunk of change coming out of your pocket.
Well, I'll say this: if it all works out the way that it's supposed to, and numbers don't lie, and they take the 15% that they say that they were going to take, if they take it out of the front end total, then yeah, it'll be a lump sum. But if they take it out monthly, it wouldn't be that bad.
Okay.
Because if they take it out monthly, it's all contractual. It's once again, I don't have a contract, so I can't sit down in front of it and tell you. But if I did, yes, because I pride myself in being able to do that. So, so once again, if it's look at it like this, and I've already kind of crunched numbers. So if they take the lump sum out, it's going to be $2,250, right?
Yes.
But if they do it monthly, it'll just be a whopping $900 a month. But you're already getting $1,500 every week. So 900 out of 6,000 ain't nothing. You think about it.
Yeah, I mean, didn't think of it that way because most of the numbers I've seen are the 2250, which, you know, you got people going around like, hey, I can get an apartment for under $1,000. Why is this a rate you want to pay? You know, because that's the argument. Right. It's like, and this is something, you know, I'll stick with myself here too. Is I mean, people have asked me like, why is this the route they went? And I'm like, I don't know. I'm not in the war room for that. The city and the league had to agree with that. So the two parties had to have said this is what they wanted. I can only speculate so far as to why they chose that path, you know?
And what I see is, you know, every number that I see, I see like that. So I've seen $75 for every 30 days. Mm-hmm. That's not for the full, like that's per month. So if it's $75 for the 30 days, right? I would just multiply that. That's going to be your percentage. You would do your 6,000 because it's per month. So you would do your 6,000 because it's 1,500 every week.
Okay.
So you're gonna have $6,000. Okay, cool. So we know if we play 4 games, we're gonna get $6,000. Now I know I have to pay for my hotels out of that, which is 15%. So what is 15% of 6,000?
So
let's
about
$9. Yeah, exactly. So me honestly, if I'm getting $900 a month, that $6,000 a month, that $900 is not going to hurt me because I'm sending majority of that back anyways. As long as I got a hotel and y'all are taking care of food, I could care less. That's all I need. I just need you to take care of my hotel and food. Or if I'm paying for my hotel, you guys provide food and help me with some type of transportation. That's all that I ask.
And they've said they're going to have meals at least provided. So at least I know some people want to still adventure out, but like that is there.
You always do.
Yeah.
You always want to venture out. When I was in Mexico, I ventured out. Like they just we were like, nah, coach, we got to go.
I mean, for you, that's a different country. Like to me, that's world traveling at that point. I would love that. I've talked to buddies that are over in Europe, and I'm like, that's just globetrotting. I wish I could do that as a job, you know?
Well, you know what's crazy, man? Like I've always said, because I'm not gonna lie, I didn't come for money, you know, but I always said that I have the talent to, you know, when I found out football was all over the world, I was like, bro, my talent can take me to see the world. Oh, yeah. So I can go play football in this country and see the world. I can go play football in this country and see the world. Like I've been offered contracts from different, like Germany, Italy, Ukraine. Like I've been offered different contracts from different places, and I can go see the world. But it's like, okay, what you're offering? Does that match up with everything that I needed to match up with here? Like, and that's just a realist. I love the game. I love the game more than their life itself, but I can't risk it all for it.
I can't. I think if you talk about life in general, you got to weigh those options. So I can't argue. I mean, I can't argue that. That's the same thing I do with just my normal life, you know. everything comes up too. You gotta see what the pros and cons are at the end of at the end result. So.
And because guys will jump on a contract real fast and not even care. They'll jump on it. And I've done it, and I didn't know any better, and I'm not doing it again. That's just nicely put. I'm not doing it again. Like, now, granted, with them airing everything that's going on with the USFL contract, that's everything that everybody needs to know. Like, what more do you need to know? You know that you have meals. You know you're going to have to pay for your hotel and how much it is. You know how much you're going to get paid. You know you have insurance. Okay, cool. So what else are we talking about? Like, as long as the money is there every game, y'all should have no issues.
Right. Well, I think that people having some worrying about this with the spring league background, it's really Fox's product. They just took it from a guy that owned it. You know, it's not, and that's something I keep stressing. You know, people, and you realize this now. It's if Fox Sports is there, odds are you're not going to get a Charlie Ebersol situation where paychecks don't drop or things like that. So.
Yes, sir. Yes,
if it does, then I have a much higher issue with that than I ever did with the AAF, because at least Fox, you should be saying, yeah, this should drop every week. Why is your money not coming in? And just to add on to that, they recorded a record revenue for ads just this past quarter. So they're doing well.
It's the way that they kept it so secretive, because all the athletes that I've come across, they've been saying, man, like, what's going on? Like, who do I talk to? I'm like, bro, I have no idea, bro. I'm just posting and tagging. That's all that I know to do. Like, that is it, bro. I'm getting it out the mud. Like, and that's what we say here in Texas. We say we grinding. We getting it out the mud. We grinding.
Nice. I like that phrase. One final one I want to talk to you, because this was more recent, and I've seen some steam picking up. You've said that back when the MLFB looked like it was actually going to play, like 2016, when they were like, we're gearing up, this is definitely going to happen. Like, were you in and about to be kind of signed on, or were you looking at that, and were they opening up stuff? Like, what happened during that time for you, at least? Well,
that was the earlier phases of, I was actually leaving college, going into the professional world. So that was my earlier phases.
Okay.
I had a bunch of teammates when I played with the Texas Revolution, who were actually going to go play in the MLFB. They were talking about one guy was going to go to the Baltimore team. He said that they were going to live in facilities and practice there and do this and do. And I was just like up in the air about it. I was like, oh man, I'm looking at how this is, because at the end of the day, when it's your first taste of professional sports, you know, that's the only experience that you have of it.
Sure.
And what I mean by that is like the Texas Revolution. Yeah, they put guys in hotels. They fed them. They paid them. We had nice practice facilities. We had trainers in practice. But that was all that I saw until I went to Mexico. Now, we're living in a $3.5 million estate. We got a 10-foot wall around us. Like, we have chefs that come in and cook for, like, it's just different. Like I said, if you're playing the game so long, you need to be treated like that.
Sure. you have a bar set, so you're like, I don't want to go back down if I don't have to.
But being honest, man, like, so with the MLFB and the USFL, I've been on about the USFL for since about 2014, 2015, when I was getting ready.
They did have an original iteration, so that makes sense. Like, someone was trying to start it back then.
Yeah, I was talking to this young man named Mr. Leon Hughes from FootballNationalScouting.com. He was one of my consultants at the time. He actually helped me get the pro day.
Okay.
But he actually was letting me know, yeah, they're going to be coming back out with the XFL. Yeah, they're going to be coming out with the USFL. And I was like, no, they're not. He was like, yeah, they are. It's in dormant right now. It's just the right people are getting their hands on it, so that way the NFL doesn't touch it and yada, 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 like all that cool stuff. But, yeah, and lo and behold, the USFL popped back up. And I was like, wow, I've been waiting for this. And then with the MLFB, now that it's coming back up, I'm like, okay, I need my opportunity in that, because I was sitting here waiting, trying to get my opportunity in that the first time around, but I was still young in my career. So now that I have Mexico behind me, I have the 2 NFL workouts behind me. Okay, like, let's try this now. Let's see where we are now in the process.
Not bad. So, not bad. I bring, because the MLFB, like, they're looking like, and I know that's ever since they canceled that 2016 season and never really got back into gear, a lot of stuff behind the scenes I understand is happening, where it's like turnover of people and personnel.
Yeah.
Just it's a whole new world with CEO Frank Murtha running it. but now it looks like they might actually play. So
Yeah.
I know I'm saying this part jokingly, part like I don't know. This looks
Right,
kind of
believe
like they're moving.
like
I mean, hey, they're actually posting updates. They supposedly have personnel that they're going to tour around. They've looked in Mobile, Alabama, to make a stadium like hub. Funny how that sounds, but
right.
you
The
know,
hub.
nonetheless, things look like they might move. Now they're saying they're going to update their website. So if they do that, that's when if they update their website like they say in this press release, their latest press release, that's when I'll stop and go, okay, things might be moving in that direction.
Now,
And they're
now
going
are
to
they
go
gonna
that.
have a hub? Are they building a hub like how the FCF is building a hub?
I don't know 100% on that. There's not enough details. I think it was implied that it's the same site as the Reese's Bowl, like the Senior Bowl.
Okay.
The Reese's Senior Bowl. I need to put it that way to be specific. The same place, Mobile, Alabama, that they played this year, because he was there for that,
Okay.
and they kind of touch base on some details. But it sounds like that would be where they'd play. So
Okay.
you have two leagues playing in Alabama, roughly, one
Yeah.
starting at the back end of the other. So
Going right, flowing from one into the next.
just one's more central, the other's southern Alabama. But no, I
Southern
digress.
Well, I got to figure out which one is closer to Texas, to be honest.
Ooh, yeah.
I think Alabama's Alabama, man. Like it's just.
Oh yeah, I mean the state's history of the sport. That's what I think draws it. But
Yeah.
you know exactly where I'm at with this when you and I are talking right now. It's just like I need a little more proof, but they keep saying stuff's moving that way. They even put down a draft date. They said March is going to be a draft date. So,
Okay.
I mean, they're putting details now.
I just need to know. I just need to know who to get in contact with so that I can have an opportunity for that as well. And that's all that that is it. I just need 2 or 3 contacts, man, and I'll reach out. And if you guys say yay, cool. If you say nay, we'll move forward with our lives. No sweat off either one. Yeah, bro. I just want the opportunity, man. And if you're willing to give it to me, okay, cool.
I hope it opens up. And that'd be another league that's there. It's just, my final thought on is we'll see. A lot of competition in the next year. So and especially, we'll see. Again, you got a lot more to prove to me that you're going to actually get going. So.
Yeah, because it's early in the phases. And I saw someone that put a tweet out on Twitter. It was maybe I think about 2-3 weeks ago. Someone had posted, I don't know if it's too early or not, but I should start following the USFL page and just keeping up with the updates. Mm-hmm. And the next day, they started dropping, all right, these are all the coaches. These are the teams. They just start flooding everything. Because that's what my agency was saying. They were like, man, there's nobody, there's no point of contact. Who do we reach out to? There's nobody we can reach out to.
Totally.
They kept saying, yep. And there's nobody we can reach out to. There's no one. There's no one.
Keeping it to the vest. That's what they're doing.
Yeah. So, I mean, I understand that. They're holding their guns close. I get it. I get it. I get it. Look, all the coaches out there, man, if any of the coaches in the USFL see me as an opportunity to make your squad better, whether it's a 45K guy or 15K guy, I just want the opportunity. That's all, man. I'll come in and I'll prove myself.
Get this guy a contract. I'm serious. That's all I'm telling you.
Myself. I don't listen. You just bring me in and you let me show you what I can do. And that's all that I ask. That's it. Absolutely. My hands up.
We'll keep pushing you, man. That's it. Just keep up keep up grinding. Getting there. You got. Most definitely. I'm excited. I'm excited for what your year is. Just nice. And anything, nice to meet you here. That's it. I always like meeting a new player. So, the very least.
Opportunities like this, bro, they really. So here's the thing. When I came out of high school in 2010, right, there was nothing like this. We were trying to build something like this, a platform for players that are at a lower level to have the opportunity to get their voice out and be heard.
Yeah.
On a certain type of platform, on an ESPN type platform. So now that we've come full circle about 10, 11 years later, here we go. Now we have all this going on. We have it to where now we can have a remote, almost ESPN first take style type interview. And it's amazing because now I don't have to be in the NFL to get any type of publicity. That used to be what the situation was. Oh man, if you're not in the NFL, you're not in the CFL, you're not playing Division I football, you're not getting any exposure. Well, now we can sit down and have this conversation, and we can go live, and we can record, and we can make sure that everybody's voice is being heard at any level. So that's what I appreciate. The game has come full circle, and it's really evolving. Like,
I like that. I like that analysis. I think that's a good way of putting that, you know. Zim, thank you very much for joining the show. Appreciate your time, really do, and we're rooting for you, man. Hopefully I can get to talk to you again one-on-one, and we hear about how it's going. Otherwise, I'd love to hear, you know, your time in whatever situation. If it's not the USFL, if it's not MLFB, I would love to chat with you again sometime. You know, if you're in Mexico or at the Warbirds, it'd be great.
Most definitely. Yes, sir. We will most definitely stay in touch, man. And I want to thank Zach for the opportunity to come on, man. And listen, this is Zim, a.k.a. Anziano Fresh in the Flesh, signing out.
Signing out as well, Zach Keilman. Have a good one, guys. The Gridiron Gallery Podcast. New episodes every Friday on your favorite podcast platforms, YouTube, and premiering first, as always, at 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 a.m. Pacific, only on unhingedsn.com.